Welcome to Face Islam, the program that deals with the issues and problems that face Muslims everywhere. In this episode, I wanted to talk about a word in the Arabic, Thulm al-Ma'a, and this is the oppression of the women. We hear about this constantly in the news, in magazines, the internet. Everybody's talking about this subject, that Islam oppresses women. And some of the people talking about it are Muslims themselves. But at the same time, we find a number of Muslim women saying that Islam solves their problems and frees them and gives them the liberty that they're really seeking. But just exactly what does Islam say about these issues? Well, first and foremost, we know there's a difference between men and women. And so does our Creator, Almighty Allah. And His laws, His commandments are set in place with that in mind, so that women are treated with equity, as are the men. I recall when Dr. Jamal Badawi first coined this expression of the equity in Islam for women, I was very impressed to learn and see the results that Islam provides by making this distinction between men and women. Some of the things they talk about is, well, can a woman lead the salah? And can she give lectures and sermons? Is a woman allowed to be a leader? What about having careers? Again, because there is a vast difference between men and women, biologically and physically, of course. So there has to be taken into consideration their needs. A man cannot have a baby, a woman does. A man doesn't have a monthly cycle, but a woman does. And these two things that I just mentioned entitled her very much to be treated as such and given full consideration for that. Islam provides that. Let's begin with the salah. There are times when a woman is commanded not to do salah during her monthly cycle related to childbirth and so on. So if she knows that she's going to get full reward for not doing the salah and she doesn't need to prepare for it and so on, why would she want to do it anyway, even though she's commanded not to? The same is true of fasting. A woman, when she's fasting, she follows the same rules as the man, but when it's time for her monthly cycle, and then some things related to childbirth, she doesn't fast, but rather makes those days up at some other time during the year. Would she like to change that? I want to ask Muslim women the question, and they will come back and they'll say, no, I don't want to change this. This is fine. It's fine. I like it. So we see that it's not really an oppression. It's a misunderstanding. And there are other things that we misunderstand as well. How about being leaders in Islam? We like our women to step up to bat and help us get the real message of Islam out. And by the way, it is the women today in Islam who are doing the most of the propagation of true Islam. They're working the hardest and doing a lot of the things. Behind the scenes, maybe they don't get the big credit from us, but they're getting the credit from Allah, and that's really where we wanted it anyway, isn't it? And as far as giving a sermon from a minbar, there are a number of reasons why that is very impractical to start with. Not the least of which that there will be times when she wouldn't be able to be there. All of a sudden, she thought she could be there Friday, but oops, she found Thursday night that she's not praying. Well, obviously, she doesn't even go to the masjid at that time. Then what would happen? So we would see some practical issues. Not the least of which is when a woman leads salat, just like a man and a child, all of us, we bow down. Now, how would it be? A woman is bowing down right in front of a man, placing her backside up in the air right in front of a man's face. Now, you and I both could see the ludicrous position that would be for all of us, and there would be little, if any, concentration on the khushu' or the focus of sincerity in the salah. These are just a few of the things. Before we come to some of the bigger issues in our other programs, I want to remind us that Islam is not about just equality. It's also about equity. In front of Allah, a woman is equal in her taqwa, her bir and her taqwa, the sincerity and her God-fearing consciousness. All of that's highly appreciated by Allah. And He Himself, Allah, gives the full credit to the women for things that many men don't even imagine. And she would never want to change that on the Day of Judgment. Likewise, Islam makes it easy for them to be mothers, to have an opportunity to have the career, the best career of all, which is to teach and show children how to grow up to be the very best that they can be in Islam. And this is what we're looking for. We today need real leaders, and those leaders begin at home. Our Prophet ﷺ explained to us every child is born on the fitrah of al-Islam. But it's their parents that will raise them up to become a Jew, a Christian, a fire worshiper. And these things are going to depend heavily on the mother. Don't we say in all languages, we talk about what is your mother tongue? What do we mean by your mother tongue? It's the language that you learn from your mother. All of us are learning from our mothers every day. In that way, she's a leader just as much as any man. That's it on Face Islam.
La 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 la.